Yeah, what else?
Well, I mean, we can.
How long are we going to dance around the Trail of Tears?
Yeah, I guess we can get.
How long are we going to dance around that? Because he did that basically immediately. So he was elected in 1820. The election was 1828, and the first year the inauguration is in January. So he starts his term in 1829, and then the Indian Removal Act was in 1830, and that was big for many reasons. The Indian Removal Act basically said, look, there's Native American people in North America on the continent. And right now we're kind of going back and forth. Other presidents had kind of moved them off, like, hey, we're doing Manifest Destiny. We're expanding. We're buying up this land. We own this land now. It's for American people, white male American people. And you have to go. And at this point, a fair number of tribes have kind of tried to assimilate. Like, they learned English. They were doing farming, like established agriculture, which is very different from, where they moved or didn't have established agriculture. So they're like, well, I guess the white man's here. We're going to do when in Rome, even though Rome is where we are and they came to Rome, we're going to do what they do. And basically, before Andrew Jackson, if you kind of went along with the program and you kind of minded your P's and Q's and such, they'll kind of let you be, kind of, sort of. Andrew Jackson did not. He didn't subscribe to that, really. He said, look, this is our land. You have to go. And he said, every Native American from east of the Mississippi River has to go across the river. They have to go west.
Well, yeah, it's, and this is a tough one because just looking at it as is, it's like, oh yeah, obviously this is like awful and like just the way you're going about it and everything.
Pause. Okay. It's 1830. Look, we're setting the scene here. Don't think of it in your modern mind. Like, we all can agree that this was not good, like you said. But 1830 and previous world history, like a new nation is formed with better weapons and technology, and we're coming to a new place, and we're trying to expand our influence and reach and economic status. What do we do with indigenous people who are already on the land? What do we do? So, like, view it through that lens. Okay, go.
Right. Well, I mean, that's kind of my point. It's like you have, Indians want to do what's best for their people, and Andrew Jackson wants to do what's best for me. He's kind of like, I guess, the first like real like nationalist. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
White supremacist, I guess.
I mean, he thought white people were better than other people. So, he did. Most people of that time did.
Right.
Like, other presidents did. Like,
yeah. So, but like, I guess basically just like a tried and true, just like nationalist. Like, we need to do what's best for the country that I'm representing. And I was reading a couple different letters because he walked back the treaties that were previously set and everything, primarily from like John Quincy Adams and everything.
Milquetoast Quincy Adams.
Yeah. And when you read those, and this is the difference between Jackson and Martin Van Buren in terms of like their attitudes towards Native tribes.
Who is the next president after?
Who is his vice president for his second term, which was like a thing. People just like swapped out vice presidents.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like Jackson kind of took it as just an objective stance of like, look, these are the two sides. And like when you read like some of the letters he was sending to like down like in Georgia and everything, it's like, look, like you guys killed a couple. I think one of them may have like killed his son, or there was like a conflict where that happened. But he still kind of took the stance as like just trying to be like professional.
Yeah.
Just like, look, like this isn't working. Like we keep killing each other and we're not able to assimilate. And so we need to do what's best like for the U.S. and this is just how it needs to go. Like he's like kind of just puts it like pretty like bluntly like that, and it's really one of those things where it's like it's not personal, it's just business kind of thing. I guess. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't really read as like, oh, he really had it out for Native America. He just really wanted to, like, he adopted a Native American boy, from a tribe who, of course it was a
I wonder how did he come to be adoptable?
Right. So it's kind of like he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, obviously, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, it really sucks. But it's like, if you look at it through his lens, it's like, we just need to rip the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And just need to, this is inevitable. And clearly our side is a lot stronger than yours.
Yeah.
So you guys just need to move out.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, that's...
And moving out was not packing in a U-Haul trailer
Yeah.
In 1830. It was a forced march.
Oh, but I was going to say with Martin Van Buren, and I can't remember, I think I read this in... It might have been John Mitchum's book about Andrew Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm thinking about it, it might have been somewhere else. But anyway, with Jackson kind of taking the stance he did, when he signed the Indian Removal Act, by the time it started, like, actually happening, being removed, people being removed, Martin Van Buren was president, and he was like a lot, I guess, I don't know if anyone's just way more like openly bigoted about them. Like he just kind of like it was a more personal thing to him. And so there's kind of the thought, like, would it have gone like as badly and if Jackson was still president when that was going through, or maybe it would have been the same, I don't know. But obviously, just put it out there, I mean, I think it was like 25% of Native Americans died in the process of them traveling across the, and so of like different starvation and sickness and like probably rebellion. Yeah. And, so.
Yeah, in my research, I never got the sense that Andrew Jackson hated Native American people, like as a class. I think it was more, as you said, like exactly like you said. Some of us are able to get along. Some of us want to, like some tribes and groups, splinters of tribes, wanted to assimilate and get along and adopt, English, new American culture and all that stuff. But the fact was, if we were going to expand west through native lands, more often than not, we were going to get into wars with them, and we were going to go back and forth. And even though they were outgunned, literally, they were no slouches. They were good fighters, because they were fighting for their way of their cause was a self-defense cause. Like, you're going to come and take my land where my people have been for however many generations. No, we're going to fight you, and they weren't going to give that land up. And so the nibbling at the edges, the trying to go along to get along, wasn't working, and it was costing both sides a lot of lives. And he's the American president. His job is to further the interests of the American nation and the American people. And we just bought this land. We bought the Louisiana Purchase. We bought Florida. It's our land in the legal sense, the Western legal sense of owning things. We need to get in there so we can gather the resources from this land and enrich our people. That's what we're trying to do. And honestly, it's not dissimilar from any other people group. It's not like the Cherokee and the Choctaw and the Creek and all that. It's not like they were holding hands. It's not like they were best friends. They conquered and killed and raped and pillaged amongst their tribes it wasn't all peace and roses. So let's not get it twisted about what history actually is.
Yeah.
So the ripping of the Band-Aid of you just have to go is it was cruel. It was not good. It was not nice. I think it was the better of whether we just owe it. Conceivably, if we just piecemeal it, we could conceivably still be fighting different tribes and insurgencies forever. Look at Iraq, look at all conflicts in human history where one group tries to take over another group. All of British history in the colonies, there's just always fighting. And it's not that either side is necessarily wrong. You could say that you come over to an established land and take it over, that's not great, but that's what people do. That's just what it is. So the Indian Removal Act was signed in 1830.
Which I was going to say also, this was still tons of people representing the U.S. were super against this.
Oh yeah, this is not a done deal. Far from it.
Samuel Worcester, in particular, was a Christian missionary that was actually starting to live in one of, I think it was the Cherokee tribe thing. And so he ended up kind of being, I don't know, maybe the first hippie, laying down in the middle of the road.
You will not go.
Yeah. But no, he was willing to have himself put in jail and that happened in order for him to try to stop, that from happening. So this was even really contested, even with Americans.
Yeah, like that is an important point. Like, this was not a done deal. This wasn't like all of America was united. Like, yeah, kill them all. Like, there were certainly people who were like that, and it wasn't just like the Northerners who, didn't buy into the War of 1812 and didn't really buy it. Like, it wasn't just that. There were people who were forward thinking, who, especially like notably, Christian people who are like, you can't just do that. That's not how we should treat people.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read too much into, is it Worcester?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read too much into like his actual philosophy. Like, okay, what's your solution then? But
it's one of those. Well, the heart was on the right place.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
like you got to give props to someone who takes a principled stance. Like, I don't think we should do this. I don't think you are allowed to do this, and I'm gonna try to stop you. So you have to give him props. So, 1830 it's signed. The Choctaw were starting to be moved in 1831, and then the Cherokee Nation actually sued in the Supreme Court.
Oh, yes, that's right.
They sued in the Supreme Court in 1832, which put kind of a pause on the removals while they were battling this out in court. And on one hand, it's kind of badass that Andrew Jackson did what he did. On the other hand, it's kind of
freaky.
It's kind of wild and a little scary that he did it, because the Supreme Court was like, no, we have a treaty. They have land. You can't just violate this treaty and kick them out. You can't do it. Like, the Supreme Court says no. And Andrew Jackson said, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. What are you going to do? Stop me? You don't have any way to, like, it wasn't even about authority, because the Supreme Court does have the legal authority to say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And he just did it anyways. And
what was the...
Marshall made his decision, now let him enforce it.
Yeah, let's see him enforce it or whatever, yeah.
And that's just like...
And they didn't.
He didn't? Well, like, what is he going to do? Like, the Supreme Court doesn't have an army.
Mm-hmm.
He's the commander-in-chief of the army. So that's like... It's like cinematic and epic to like, no, man, we're doing it anyways and you can't stop me. But it's terrifying from the perspective of, we have a constitutional government. You were elected into this constitutional government by the processes, and now you're just choosing not to follow them because you have a bigger gun. Like, that's worst case scenario. That's like dictatorship.
Yeah.
I don't care what the court says, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
This is also where the popular vote gets important, because if you get the electoral college but like way miss the popular vote and you pull something like that, then that's, well, I mean, it's civil war basically.
Yeah.
He had enough popular support to do it, but that court case held up the moving, the relocation, all that stuff of the other tribes until like 1836 and 7. So it's really Martin Van Buren who is carrying out the removals, but the act was passed pretty much first year and a half of Jackson's presidency. So yeah, it's really a mixed bag, honestly. You got to give him props for sticking to his guns, literally. But that's a scary thing to be like, no, I'm just doing it anyways. And then it also kind of throws, like, whenever people in modern times talk about, oh, he's a dictator and he's doing this and he's doing that, and it's like on either side, and it's like, we've actually had someone who, like, the Supreme Court said no and he just literally did it anyways. And like thousands of people died because of it. So like, let's not dilute the meaning of the word when we say like a dictator or something like that, because this has actually happened.
Obviously, we've just turned that. It's, in my opinion, that's just very performative.
Yeah, it's just the biggest, scariest word you can use for a bad person, but you have to put it in context. You can't. It's like the word racist. It's like the word bigot. It's like the word dictator. You can't dilute the meaning of the word to fit your specific pet issue, because when an actual dictator comes along, it's like, well, I don't even know what the word for this is, because the dude who did something legal that you didn't like according to the process and you just didn't like it is by definition not a dictator. Like, I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's the moral or correct thing to do, but he did it in the right way. So like, at least there's that. It could be worse, it has been worse. Like, let's keep it sane in how we describe stuff. but yeah, the main 5 tribes were the Cherokee, the Creek, the Choctaw, and the Chickasaw, and then also the Seminole. So the Seminole were in Florida, which Monroe just bought like 10 years earlier. 8, 9. Anyways, not important. The Seminole, because I've never been to Florida. Have you been to Florida? It's real swampy down there, like the Everglades. There's gators. There's gators down there. It is not easily traversable land, and the Seminole have lived there for a long time. So kind of how Jackson used his knowledge and like bushcraft to kind of outwit the posh city-dwelling British in the War of 1812 to come down, and kind of how we did in the Revolution to get an end around the British and asymmetric warfare and guerrilla tactics. The Seminole did that to the Americans who were trying to move them out, and they protracted that war through 2 presidencies. I don't know, what did they get out of it? A university? Florida State, go Seminoles? I don't know. What's your this is for the Patreon. What's your theory of like Native American mascots or symbols, or because there's a lot of, I think now we use it in a respectful, like honoring term. So like a lot of our military helicopters are named after tribes, like the Chinook, the big transport one, the Apache attack helicopter, obviously sports teams, the Redskins, the Indians, the Chiefs, the Seminoles, the whatever. Like most cities in Washington are named after tribes. Like what's your kind of feeling on that?
Well, in my opinion, I think
colonizer, what's your opinion on that?
When you have, because usually, I guess the counter argument to someone who is like offended by the team name thing is like, yeah, but at least the helicopter, that's like, it's not a caricature.
Sure.
It's done like, or this town was named after that's like Tumwater. Oh, it's the first of like these tribes. So it's like actually being more polite, I guess, or politically correct towards it.
Sure.
So when you look it through that, it's like, okay, that makes sense. I've seen a lot of like surveys and things done, specifically asking all sorts of different Native Americans, like, oh, is this offensive? This person dressing like this with a headdress, is that offensive? Is this like mascot or like the picture that, and like it's always like over 90% say no, they're not offended by it, but that's never brought up in the conversation if we should get rid of this. If you ever, there's this video. He doesn't work for PragerU anymore, but you remember Will Witt?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he used to do these videos where he would dress up in like a Native American, like he's, for anyone to know, he's like just like straight white guy.
He's a super white guy.
Yeah, and he would do the whole like headdress and everything, and he would walk around, do like these thought experiments where he would ask all these college students like, "Hey, do you find this offensive?" And people were like, "What are you doing? Like, don't make this culture your costume," and all those buzzwords and all those kinds of things and stuff. And some people would get like actually like legitimately like violent with him. Yeah. They try to like take off his thing, or they'd like push him, or try, and then he would go to like across the street to this where a bunch of Native people were.
And go to a reservation.
Yeah, you go to like a reservation and just ask them the same question. Like no one there would be offended.
Do you find the name Washington Redskins, is that offensive to you?
I don't think so. In my personal opinion, no. I am a Washington Redskins fan.
I don't think it's terrible, because the Redskins actually came down last year with our Native American people and taught them how to do football, the little kids,
I don't find it offensive. Someone came to me and called me a Redskin to my face. Hey, it's my fault for letting that hurt me.
Like that, I like the Cleveland Indians. I thought that was pretty cool, but some people would say that was like a drunken native on a logo. You know what I mean? But the Redskins, I mean, that's that's a fighter. You know what I mean? And like you look at the Apache helicopters, you look at the Navajo code talkers, you see people jumping on airplanes saying Geronimo. So that's just admiration that the American cultures that's adapting and bringing into their environment.
Thanks for like being interested in our culture.
Right?
And,
yeah.
You should learn more about like our specific culture, because that's like actually for chiefs, and this is like what this means. And and
there was a saying he would do that too with like
Chinese or
Hawaiian,
or
he would there was one where he had like a sombrero and like a, and then went to like the same thing, go to a bunch of white kids in a college campus and they're all or whatever, and then go over across the street to this like very authentic Mexican restaurant where all these like very authentic Mexican people are there, and they're like, oh, that's awesome, like I love that. Like,
would you like to chat with us today? No.
Appropriation.
That's what we want to talk to you about. Hola. Do you think my outfit is offensive?
Are you Mexican?
No.
Yes.
I think it reaffirms stereotypes that are offensive to people.
You think people really think Mexican people are like this and carry around marachas?
No, I don't think people actually think that.
Cultural appropriation? Why do you say that?
Because you're not like Mexican.
You think Mexican food is like cultural appropriation?
No.
Someone else's culture that we've kind of taken. Is this cultural appropriation?
You're so screwed.
No comment.
It's not yours.
Can I just ask you, do you like my costume?
I like your mustache.
Do you?
Monthly.
Does my outfit offend you?
You look no. You look nice.
Thank you. Do you like my costume?
Yes.
Does it offend you?
Es ofensivo.
No.
No, nothing. That's good.
I love it, actually.
You think it's offensive?
No, not at all.
Some people get really offended by this. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, just you're not Mexican, so people think that you have to be Mexican to wear that.
I'm celebrating Mexico.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you Mexican?
I am.
See?
I'm not wearing it.
See? Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should swap outfits.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I mean, I think a lot of times, sometimes the people who yell the loudest, the silent, or the loud minority, kind of get to decide the rules on those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so when you have super, I guess I'll just say like liberal CEOs and who just like don't want to rock the boat,
Yeah.
and they just don't want to look bad. They want to make their stockholders look good. We got to make the arrow keep going up. Well, then maybe we just get rid of this, thing. But I think at the same time when you do that, though, it's like you're also just erasing history. And I mentioned that too, I think before with like the taking down statues and things like that. And, so I know there was actually a lot of same thing with the survey, like, oh, how do you feel about the Redskins like just being completely replaced? And they're like, that guy was actually like a real chief and like a real person, and you just completely took him away because a bunch of like white people were offended by it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like the way of being counter racist is just like ends up being like more racist.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's because it's interesting about the Redskins because the Redskins are my dad's favorite team, and he's from Baltimore. So, but the Ravens suck. The Redskins really suck. But it's one of those things where
of course your dad would pick the Redskins as his favorite team.
Well, I don't know, whatever.
Just kidding.
I never really understood. It's like, did we ever live in DC? It's like, no, we're from Baltimore, and then Virginia. It's like, I guess Virginia's close to DC, but whatever. Anyway, it's like the erasure, like you said. It's like any depiction of a Native American person, whether it's like the Redskins logo was like a profile picture of like an actual it wasn't a caricature. Now like the Cleveland Indians, it was kind of cartoonish. He had like a little headdress, Chief Wahoo, and I was like, I don't know if that was a real chief. It might have actually been a real chief. I don't know, but like,
well, again, like I would just go back to like, ask the people that it's imitating, and see how they feel. And I've seen stuff of like, no, look, like they are offended, but it's like you can pinpoint.
Yeah, I can find anyone to be upset about something.
So if they're fine with it, I mean, I don't know.
I looked into Florida State University Seminoles. I mean, clearly there's like, not every tribe has been forcibly removed. Well, I don't know if that's true. Maybe cut that. That's probably not true. But like whatever. But like they were the first, and it was not pleasant. Florida State University, like most people in Florida are white, and the Seminoles is their mascot.
Or Cuban.
Or now. Well, no, they were Spanish at first, so maybe they.
Right, I saw a lot of Cubans of Mark Rubio.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
He's got to represent.
We'll get to that. But like part of their like pregame thing is they have like someone in like traditional Seminole like headdress and like garb, I suppose. Yeah. With like a spear on fire, riding a horse in their thing, and they have their whole like tomahawk chop where it's like the like that whole thing where it's like a kind of a caricature of like a native, but I don't know if it's a caricature. Anyways, and so I looked more into that. Like, okay, a bunch of drunk Florida college kids, like this is probably like offensive, and like they're dressing a person up and they're riding a war horse on the thing for a football game. Like these were actual warriors who actually fought and died and whatever. And the Seminole tribe has consistently been like, no, we have a really good relationship with them. They honor our culture, and like we're honored to be represented as like the fighting spirit of this university in this area where we traditionally had lands. So like same thing with the Redskins. Now there are people who we know who were Redskins fans, and then when they changed to the Commanders, they didn't wear the Redskins gear anymore. They wore Commanders gear. Because they just wanted to, because there are people that we know who are native and not, from the East Coast, but like West Coast, Central, Plains Indian tribes. And so it's just like wanting to honor, like, hey, this was a thing that is like deeply ingrained into your people group's history, that you like. They're still on reservations, like Northwest Trek is a nature preserve, and we like keep wild animals, but in this fence in this specific area. So it's like, it's a nasty kind of thing of like, yeah, you're totally people, but we're just keep you over here, and you have your own government and this, that, and the other. Yeah. And so it's strange. It has like a nasty kind of weird taste to it. Even if everyone
vassal state, because that's kind of what it's called.
A vassal state.
Vassal state, not vassal. Yeah, vassal state.
Yeah, where you're like subservient to it. You have your own rights and laws and stuff. Like they have their own tribal police. They don't pay state sales tax, but also like if the Washington state government says to do something, they can't just not do it. Like so, it's a weird thing.
Sometimes I don't know exactly where the authority starts and ends on a lot of things, because I know during COVID they didn't have to follow any COVID.
No,
laws.
well, I mean.
I just know that I just remember like, the casinos are still open.
Yeah,
and this is open. They're still.
Yeah, so like the overlap between federal law, state law, and tribal law, like is still being worked out. There's conflicts about water rights and land rights, and who gets to like in Nisqually, the tribe gets to fish first. Like they get first fishing rights in salmon season, because that's how they still like eat a lot. Like it's an ancestral thing. They do that. I understand.
That's a good way to apologize.
You get the fish.
Yeah, you get to fish for a week before we come.
So long, and thanks for all the fish. I understand both sides. I understand wanting to be sensitive and like, hey, this is a thing that has hurt your people group, even if not your specific tribe or family, but like your people group. This has hurt you. I don't want to be someone who like wears a piece of gear that might upset you, like just person to person. I don't want to offend you as a person, which is different from like I'm a suburban housewife in Minnesota who doesn't like the Cleveland Indians, and I think I don't think Aunt Jemima should be on the syrup bottle.
Say,
and so it just keeps going, and like I miss Aunt Jemima. Okay, like I don't know, but like
I thought it was Jemina. Sorry. Sorry.
And Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben's rice.
I think he's still on. Get any whiter.
Uncle Aunt Jemina.
I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I never just always would see the bottle and go, yep, it says Jemina. Just as a little kid, I just carried that with me. Though.
I suppose you're a Mrs. Buttersworth kind of family, aren't you? She's definitely white.
I can't believe it's not butter. Fabio in those commercials. See, that was my mascot.
Enjoy your canola oil, colonizer. We ate off the fat of the land, Land O'Lakes butter, which they took her off.
Yeah, see,
they took her off. No, but yeah, I understand from a person-to-person standpoint. I personally don't want to do something that's going to upset you potentially. Totally fine, very considerate. I understand, but like big sweeping things because we don't want anyone to be offended, and then we ask the people who might be offended, like, I don't really watch football, or I don't care, or I think it's good that we're being represented in like a rough and tough kind of way, like we're fighters. It's not like whatever. Just don't make decisions for people like they're pets. Like they can't, like they couldn't speak for themselves, or like they're too weak and frail to speak for themselves and say, we don't want you to do that. As a big aside, but it's just because the Native American culture and their practices and their traditions and their history, there's a lot of good and interesting and inspiring like history and figures. Tecumseh, Sacagawea, Geronimo, all like many others that I can't think of right now. Chief Seattle, Chief Leshai, all those. Like, if we don't have those names and faces out there, how are our kids supposed to know, like, oh, this is how complex our history is in our region and in our nation and in our world. There are different people groups. This is what they were like. This is what happened. We don't want to do that again. Like, we have to keep all elements of history somewhat present. We don't need to dwell on them, but we can't forget that they happened. They have to be in the public mindset so that we can educate. And I mean, it's not like white people need to go to every powwow, but wouldn't it be cool if you got to see, like, they've been doing this for 700 years. This, like, that would be an interesting thing to observe and to learn about and to just know in your knower of, this is how different people live. The art, the music, the food, like, all of it. It's good to have available. Otherwise, you're just stuck with canola oil and Wonder Bread. And what a flavorless existence that would be if you were stuck with that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it probably feeds into this. It's just the overall topic of, like, groupthink. And, the black community thinks of this, so we have to do this. Right, and, like, treating people as, like, just entire groups instead of individuals.
Yeah.
So, which is this is a much more deeper thing than just, is this mascot funny?
Yeah.
Obviously, but
yeah, his nose is too big. Take it off. Yeah. It's like, no, we're
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Into a much broader topic. So
we're a diverse nation with people from all over the world having their hands in different corners of it, different immigrants from different places. We're not like Europe, we're not like Russia, we're not like China, we're very different. Like, the melting pot of different people coming in is what makes us unique, and the fact that, by and large, the vast majority of us, we get along with each other just fine. Like, the past 60-ish, 70-ish years, there's been some bumps along the way, for sure. But you go from black people are property to, I mean, you think like Civil Rights Act in the 60s and Jim Crow, so 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 60, 70 years, to, like, interracial marriage and fully integrated schools, and it's not a problem. It's not a problem. White kids have posters of black movie stars and sports heroes in their rooms. Hispanic kids have white politician people that they, like, aspire to be. Like, it's all mixed up, and it's good that we can get along, because that proves to other places it's not easy, but it's possible. Like, there will be some issues along the way that we probably don't like looking back and wish we could have done different. But some things just sort of have to happen to get to the place where you can be where you're at.
Yeah.
We'll cut all that. That'll be for Patreon. What were we talking about? Andrew Jackson. The Trail of Tears was kind of the biggest thing. He didn't even oversee it, but his laws and policies, and he groomed Martin Van Buren. He was his VP, so, like, Martin Van Buren did not like Native American people. Like, the Trail of Tears was, and we're jumping ahead, but it was a vengeance thing. Like, I don't care what happens to these people; they're just leaving. And I don't think Andrew Jackson had that same, like, vicious mindset. Like, these people have to go, but we don't need to kill them all, and we don't need to, like, I don't know. It's hard to look back 200 years in the past and get in their head of what they thought. We just have their letters, and his letters didn't indicate that he had any necessarily personal vendetta. He just was more pro his people, which, so were they. They just didn't have guns.
Yeah. Well, there's probably still one thing we need to talk about.
Yeah.
This is a long one. The National Bank.
Oh, no. What's the thing? Abolish the Fed. Well, he did it.
Right. I just think it's funny that, like, the irony that he hated the national bank system. Maybe we don't have to get super deep into it, but just, like, in basically, oh, this is potentially really corrupt, or it is really corrupt, and like again, like we're giving the government, maybe it's irony, like giving the government too much power, but also, oh, you made your ruling, let's see you enforce it.
The government should not be powerful enough to overrule the will of the people unless I do it. It's like that meme, like corruption is never bad, or no, it's always bad unless I benefit from it. Then it is good.
Yeah. But just the fact that he was so against like a national bank, even against paper money, he did want to go back to like coins and silver and gold and things like that. And
he's like shiny stuff.
Yeah.
He's like a crow.
He's actually on the $20 bill. So.
Yeah. Maybe it was like the Treasury's way of like sticking it to him. Like, now you're going to be on our greenbacks forever.
Yeah, well, he was regarded, I know he's obviously with more modern sensibilities now. He's kind of dropping in the ranks a bit, but he was, a top 10 president, I think, for a while. We'll see what happens if C-SPAN puts out another.
I don't even want to see that again. Yeah. Politics is messy. Governance is messy. Because people are messy. And you have to give a leader credit for doing what is in the best interest of his people to the exclusion of other people. In our interconnected world now, it's like, we can't be like, screw you, Japan, we're doing what's best for us. And because we've built an interconnected system where we kind of give and take and all that good stuff. But that also means that we end up in positions where, like, we get the short end of the stick on trade deals, on contract, on this, that, and the other. We get the short end of the stick so that we can maintain good relationships with other countries. And, I mean, I guess it depends on your school of thought, but, like, how's that working for you? Because if I elect a leader who their job is to make my life better, and they're like, well, I won't make your life worse, but I am going to increase taxes so that we can make other people's lives better. Like other people in our country? No, other countries better. Can we get better? No, we don't have the money to make us better. We have the money to make other people better. And it's like, well, I'm glad that other people are doing better. I don't want people to do bad, but I also want us to do good. And then maybe they can do good for themselves, and then we can all do good instead of just, well, we did really good in the past, so now we're going to help them be good to the detriment of us. Like that, it doesn't seem like you wouldn't run a family like that. Like, oh, well, the neighbor's house sprung a leak, so we're going to pay to fix their plumbing. And it's like, Dad, our septic system has been backed up for 8 months. Yeah, but those neighbors, and we got to help them out. It's like, you got to take care of your own house first. Like, if you have homeless people and high healthcare and high cost of living and all that stuff, like it makes sense to handle those issues for your people first, and then from the excess help other people who are less fortunate than you. Like that's how it makes sense to me from like a family individual standpoint. I can't loan you $20 if I'm in debt 40. Like I can't do it. It doesn't make sense. But if I don't have debt and you have debt, maybe I can help you get out of debt. Like reasonable people can differ. That's what one of my criminal law professors said. On many things, reasonable people can have principled disagreements about the best way to do things. And Jackson is kind of the embodiment of that. Like reasonable people have reasonable disagreements about how we should have handled westward expansion, how to deal with native populations who are already here. There's reasonable ways to go about that on both sides. One is just the way that it happened, and so we get to dissect that and say, that wasn't good, was it? We're like, no, it wasn't good. What's the alternative? I don't know, nibble at the edges and be in perpetual war. I mean, maybe it could have worked out in the end, like maybe, but we're stuck with the history that we have. So that's what we have to look at. Hopefully this doesn't happen again. I can't see a situation where this happens again. If we finally annex Canada, what are we going to do with the native Canadians? We got to round them up. We got to put them in the fairgrounds again. Do you know the Puyallup Fairgrounds were an internment camp in the 40s?
No, for Japanese. Really? I did not know that. Okay.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Fun fact, internment camps in Washington. Well, we're on the coast.
I think I remember hearing that it was in Washington, but I didn't realize it was in Puyallup. Dang. You just ruined the Puyallup Fair for me.
I've only been once, and I don't think I'll go back.
Oh. I've seen like a couple shows there. But I've been to the actual carnival part, I think, like once.
That's overpriced.
Yeah.
I don't trust a ride that's built in a day by hungover teenagers. You miss one bolt and I'm going into the stratosphere? No, thank you. See what I did? That's a joke, because one of the rides is a stratosphere.
Oh, I didn't know that. So,
With an F, stratosphere.
oh, so it's clever.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. I think that should pretty
think
much
we've
cover it. I
we've
think
covered a lot of
probably
ground.
We've milked this cow as much as we can.
Andrew Jackson died in 1845.
There you go. That's my last little note.
Yeah. What a guy. You know, the more I talked about him, the less jazzed I was about him. I was really gung-ho. Yeah, I don't know.
You're just gonna go home sad.
I mean, we're getting into real history with real consequences.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
This is the first.
These are very difficult decisions.
Well, and this is the first kind of time we've had the power to make such sweeping decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we kind of stumble into.
Yeah, these are more like we're getting to more modern things.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, Britain and France or Napoleon's doing this thing. Like, we're so disconnected and far removed from that.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't really matter like what your side you're on, I guess, or how you feel about it. 'Cause it's just so not in the realm of today. But yeah, I mean, obviously, is some more of these the native stuff, the abolition stuff, and then Reconstruction, and so things get a lot more modern pretty quickly.
Yeah. So now we're in the 18. So Jackson gets 2 terms, and now we're at what, 1836?
Yep.
Is the end of his term?
Yeah.
So
37. I guess.
37. Yeah, because of the years. So now we are in the generation that will see the Civil War.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dang. All right. Yeah, we're getting through. So. All right. Well, make sure to like and subscribe. And
If you're still around after
around,
that, that display of modern American sensibility, Trail of Tears, what are you gonna do?
Okay. We will see you guys next time.